Welcome back, everybody, to the Overwatch Rumble brought to you by Razer and DX Racer. I'm Storm with Hurix for our first of two winners bracket semifinals. Rogue up against Cloud9. Hurix, what are your thoughts on this match?
Should be a good match, man. I mean, Cloud9 definitely had a strong performance against Selfless, and I think this is actually going to get kind of interesting. But Cloud9 able to pull out Lijiang Tower in the matchup, which I think will allow them to try to take a map. I mean, it certainly have a really good shot at being able to steal one away from Rogue here. But the first map that we're going to be seeing them up against is on Gibraltar, which I think Rogue has a little bit of favor on. But again, I still think this is going to be a lot better of a matchup than I thought it would have been yesterday, with C9 looking a lot stronger. Things like it seems like things are kind of meshing a little bit more now. So I think this is going to be a really, really good one here.
Well, it is going to be a best of three, still just the winners bracket semifinals. Loser of this still have an opportunity to make their way into the grand finals. We are going to be bringing you guys the second semifinal following this one, which is Envy up against Immortals, as Immortals took down LG Evil and Envy took down Rise Nation, all of which, again, double elimination, still have an opportunity in the lower bracket to see what's going on there. But I think we're going to have a couple of great semifinals headed your guys' way. Unexpected, personally, to see Selfless drop against Cloud9 here, but I think Cloud9 looking extremely good on those two control point maps. Fortunately for them, they will be able to get Lijiang Tower. That was their pick. It goes Gibraltar, Lijiang Tower, and then Dorado to finish out this series. But I don't know, man. Rogue, arguably the best team in North America right now. They've just been steamrolling everybody. They're on a massive win streak, Hurix. What do you think Cloud9 need to do here to try to pull the upset?
Yeah, they haven't lost a series in all of 2017. I mean, Cloud9 is going to have to deny a lot, because Rogue, I mean, one of the biggest issues when playing against a team like Rogue is that they just have so many threats. I mean, Nico has been a very consistent performer ever since joining the roster, and he's been very strong on the Genji. Nox has been outstanding on the Winston. Unko has been one of the most lethal supports that we have ever seen in the history of Overwatch. Soon, obviously, very strong on the Tracer, and AKM has been very consistent, actually swapping up a lot. He's been playing stuff like Pharah. We've been seeing him on Soldier as well, and of course wins the Lucio on the payload, as we'll see him more than likely throughout Gibraltar. But I mean, that's just a big issue for playing against Rogue, is that they just have so many threats. I mean, it's not like going against another team where you have like one or two guys you have to kind of shut down. If you can make that happen, then you'll be at a good advantage. With Rogue, you have to shut everything down holistically. You have to get those full team wipes where Rogue makes a very uncanny mistake, something that's not something that doesn't happen quite often, and then or you just have to have a severe advantage going into the fight with, you know, big ultimate stocked up, or trying to take advantage of an early pick where Rogue kind of falls short or something like that. And it's just, I don't know, it becomes a huge issue when playing against a team like this, especially for C9 on Gibraltar, where I think, again, Rogue is just going to be able to play very, very consistently on this one. But we'll have to see. I mean, C9 looked very, very solid against Selfless, and we've actually seen C9 able to take down a team that Rogue has had a little bit of struggles with in the past. I mean, Selfless has been able to take maps off of Rogue. So I think that and a couple of other reasons is why this matchup, C9 Rogue, is actually going to be, in my opinion, a very, very intense matchup, especially given the fact that Lijiang Tower is introduced as well.
Well, especially with how well Zephyr and Sully have been doing. And you mentioned Selfless, a team that has been contending with Rogue. They've played them four times over the last month or two, I believe, all of which Rogue took 3-2. They're all best of fives. This is only a best of three here, and Cloud9 taking down Selfless. Pretty surprising. But going back to what we saw yesterday, we actually got to see Rogue against CLG. That was a pretty clean 2-0 sweep. But then up against Rise Nation, where they actually lost a map. What do you make of Rise Nation taking out the map of these guys and kind of showing that they can be taken down?
Well, I mean, Rise Nation is still a really solid team. I mean, I still think that Retzi has been a really solid performer so far. So I think that honestly, it's hard to read into something like that, because there's just so much that goes into it, that I don't know if there's anything that we can necessarily pull away from that particular matchup. But I mean, Rogue have been known to drop a couple of maps here and there, just not obviously that frequently. But I still think they're looking really solid. I still think they're the strongest team in NA right now and in this tournament, of course, as well. But maybe C9 will pull out another potential upset, because I still think Selfless was a little bit of an upset given the performances we saw yesterday. And I think it was more of an upset because of the way that it happened, with Selfless shut down on their own map, and then Lijiang Tower, of course, looking good for C9. They were able to pull that out. I don't think the Lijiang Tower thing made... I think that made a lot of sense, but it was Nepal that was really astounding, and also just the way on Lijiang Tower that C9 won that, with the Mei coming out and shutting down the composition that Selfless usually likes to run on control point maps.
Well, it will be Rogue on defense to get things underway in this best of 3 winners bracket semifinal. Even if you, I believe if you win this matchup, you would be in the money, I believe, for the top 3. So given that, and we'll see what's going to happen here, as it looks like Rogue going to be with the triple DPS thread. As always, can't expect too much different from these guys. On the other side, though, God's going to be on that win stand. Surefour trying to spot someone out right away here with the Widowmaker.
Nico going to be in this corner. They spot him out almost immediately, and Nico going to get saved by Unko. And they actually battle through and find that kill on Selly, but C9 was actually incredibly smart to just dive bomb that, as they almost found an early kill onto Nico with it.
It was a smart play off of that Sonic Arrow that came out from the Hanzo, and trying to follow up with that one. Now God's going to wait for the rest of his crew. Not going to be making a change by any means. Surefour going to be sticking with the Widowmaker here, looking for some early picks. But that first kill onto Selly definitely going to get Rogue off to a very strong start.
And he's actually going to get backed up, and he might be forced to make a swap soon, but actually not going to be the case, as they're just going to go ahead and keep trying this out. And doesn't have a really good angle. Rogue is just denying a lot of these shots that could pop off for Surefour, and he's not really finding too much value at the moment. Nox going to get booped away, not going to be taken out as well, and Surefour, again, just kind of shut down, doesn't have that angle that he's looking for.
He is getting a lot of pressure, though, from Nico way in the back here, along with Nox on the low ground. This is a very dispersed fight. I mean, there's 3 separate fights going on at the same time here, all around the map. Already a minute burned off the clock. They do lose Nox, though, soon, as well, in a very rough spot right now. Is he able to get to safety? He is going to be taken down in the end, as well as win. So it looks like finally Cloud9 should have an opportunity to move forward with this payload.
Surefour looking for that pick in the air there, not going to be able to find it. And now he does have that ultimate there, looking for the sights to come up. That's going to give them a little bit of an advantage to know where Rogue is coming from, but they already have that kind of information for the most part, so it's not going to amount to too much, but it will allow Surefour to try to find some picks as people come around corners. But it seems like Rogue is just going to wait that out, and they've already taken a lot of time off the clock already here, Storm.
And it looks like Nox in a rough spot. He does have Primal Rage to get him out. Looking for Zephyr. Oh, Surefour going to be taking down Nico again, pressuring him in that backline, providing the threat that you would normally see from a Winston, but it's going to be Nico, the one who's going to come out on top, and Rogue turn that one back in their favor. 2 minutes spot off the clock here. Now they're in a normal position to where you would normally see a team defend. They have so many ultimates to work with here, X.
They just have so many options. I mean, granted, C9 have a lot of their own, but it seems like so far they've been shut down almost completely. And Rogue haven't had to pull too much out to actually make that happen. But Surefour making that swap over to the Tracer. Maybe this is what they're looking for here. This Dragon Blade comes out, and so does the Sound Barrier.
It's going to be a Transcendence, though, from Win, so we didn't find anything off of that one. They used the Primal Rage as well from Gods. Is it enough? Nox pops the Primal Rage just at the perfect time. Now Nico with his own Dragon Blade into it. Looks like rolls Transcendence, looking for something. Surefour picks up the first kill there onto Nico. Zephyr as well, going to be taken down. Nox going to be dropping here, so advantage to C9. It looks like Surefour and company should be able to clean this one up, though Surefour takes a little bit of pressure there from AKM up top. As God, it doesn't get out of this one alive. It looks like that's going to be the case, and Cloud9 securing the first checkpoint.
Now pushing through to that hangar phase, we will see C9 going forward, looking for that kill on Nico. If they find it, that's going to be good for them, as they're not going to have that extra pressure that they have to worry about. They also take Nox out. Again, that was in kind of some dead time as the gates were opening, but the payload's moving now, and they should be able to get it to right under that bridge where that fight would happen anyways. But Surefour are going to get into a little bit of a duel here with Soon jumping forward, but Selly going to be finding that kill onto Unko again, giving C9 that advantage that they're looking for to start fights out with.
Surefour and Selly are really doing a lot of work here for Cloud9 on the DPS roles. We didn't see so much of that from Surefour against Selfless. There, a lot of that was up from Selly and Zephyr, but now Surefour really coming alive for his team. Picks up 2 kills, doesn't even need the Pulse Bomb or the Dragon Blade. They have almost all 6 ultimates ready to go for this next fight. 243 to work with for basically one team fight to be able to secure that second checkpoint here, X.
They're punishing Rogue. I mean, finding these kind of free kills, and with the picks they're able to go forward and just punish, and push the offensive, and now Nox taken out. This is just another one of those opportunities where Nico's going to be forced to try to get aggressive, look for some kills. Not going to be able to find anything. He gets taken out, and that's another point here on the board for C9. And look at this. They have just under 4 minutes now, so they looked not too good on the first point, but they just run through the hangar phase, and now they're in a good spot here for this last phase of the map here on Gibraltar.
And Cloud9 are absolutely steamrolling Rogue right here, and still they have a couple of ultimates to work with. Sound barrier for that tactical visor that's going to come up from AKM in this next fight. If he can even get to a good vantage point, there's no opportunity for him to get to the high ground, but Unko finds a pick there as he made the change over to the Ana just a little bit ago. From that Zenyatta pick. So Gods as well going to be taking down. Finally some resistance coming through from Rogue, but this is so uncharacteristic of what we normally see from this team.
And Selly in a little bit of a battle with Nico, and they're actually just going to be missing each other all over the place, but C9 still with about 3 minutes on the clock here, definitely looking to make a play to push this forward even more, but I think they're going to go ahead and try to dry push this. I would have to imagine, because they have to know that Nico and AKM have those ultimates at the ready. I mean,
I haven't used them in so long. There's no way they don't know that. But unfortunately, they don't have the transcendence to do it. They do have a sound barrier, though, from Adam. He's actually, no, it's going to be Wins coming out with his to get this one started. Looking for initiation. Unko wasn't hit with it, though. Now attack visor from AKM. A lot of the damage. Oh, no, he's taken down all at the hands of Zephyr, who's forced out of the mech. But honestly, that's in a pretty good spot to be able to force the rest of Rogue out of this one. And again, Cloud9 rolling over these guys. They only lost one in the mix, but now Win's going to be taken down. Surefour picking up 2 kills for himself.
Selly somehow managing to stay alive as well, and because of the fact that he has that Dragon Blade, that's going to be a big pickup for them, especially as they take down Nox, and it's going to be Rogue looking to regroup and recoup their losses as well, as Unko gets taken out. Surefour finding that pick.
Surefour is such a monster right now for Cloud9. I don't even know if Rogue are able to make it back. There's a Dragon Blade from Nico trying to get something accomplished here, but it's against Selly as well. Nico picks up one. He's going to be taken down by Surefour himself here. Zephyr with another kill. The Primal Rage from, it looks like God's going to be able to push him all the way back into the base. Now Nox does get back in time. So does AKM, who gets the nano boost here, but it's into a Transcendence coming out there from Wolf. They pick up the kill on the Nox. They need to deal with Nico. They don't even come back in time. 145 on the point on the payload here, remaining for the side of Cloud9. What is this, Hurix?
Not expected as C9 push it all the way through, and in a dominant fashion too. After that first point was looking like Rogue was going to be able to handle C9 pretty well, but falling short in the hangar phase and then losing out on momentum through the third. That's going to be C9 closing things out. And now on the defensive side, we'll have to see if C9 can kind of have that same performance. But Rogue, again, definitely taking advantage of that first point. I think, honestly, Cloud9 fell a little bit short because they just didn't find the value in that Widowmaker pick, and they just kind of fell behind in the timing because of that. Now, imagine if, in that situation, if Widowmaker hadn't been in there, if they had just gone from that Widowmaker to the Tracer initially, would we be staring down the barrel of like a 2.5 minute, maybe 3 minute finish from C9 here on Gibraltar, and having Rogue be in a pretty precarious position? But it's neither here nor there. Certainly in hindsight, it's hard to say, but at this point, Rogue definitely need to have one of their classic, really, really strong offenses, just pushing through with Wins making nice memes on Twitter for us on the payload if they want to be able to take this map away.
Maybe that was the issue. He was tweeting. Someone needs to check his Twitter and see what he was doing throughout that last
match. Has Wins been tweeting?
But
someone tell us.
In all honesty, though, I mean, 145 on Gibraltar is a good amount of time to work with. That is a good amount of time, especially against the best team in North America at this time. So given that, Cloud9 are sitting in an extremely comfortable position right here. And definitely after that, they have to be feeling really good after beating Selfless 2-0. And then, now finishing out Gibraltar with 145. These guys are on fire and looking to pull the upset here.
Now with that pretty standard composition, Nico, though, on the Diva at the moment. We will see a triple tank composition coming out with Gods back on the Winston here. Surefour going to be that lone DPS, unless you count Selly on the Roadhog.
hey, man,
he's been a monster, man.
He is. Whatever this guy plays, Selly and Zephyr, new additions here, are just tearing it up for Cloud9, and Surefour as well, who actually misses to jump there to get to the high ground. Rogue going to be able to move forward a little bit, as we do see we'll actually get to see what angle they want to approach this at, see if they want to go around the server side, or if they're going to actually move up through the main entrance here. But nonetheless, Soon actually taking a little bit of damage here. He's under a lot of pressure from Zephyr, gets to safety. Nonetheless, as we see this fight start to commence, still, it looks like Nico going to be demeched here, and Rogue might be forced to back off this one. They pick up a kill onto Adam, still have the numbers advantage here for the offense.
Oh man, Gods just got obliterated, had the Discord on him, and Soon just put a whole entire clip right into his face. And they're going to be able to find that kill. Sticky going out onto Selly, and the pulse bomb connects. That's going to be yet another kill for Rogue, as they're just going to be, again, just surgically removing C9 members from the fight, one by one by one, and that's the first point. Rogue caps that one out.
Maybe I doubted Rogue for a little bit there on the defense, as their offense is looking very strong, even stronger than what we saw there from Cloud9, because Cloud9, it took them about 2+ minutes to actually capture that first checkpoint, and that time around, Rogue just didn't even make it look like a challenge for them to be able to do that. But still a lot of distance to be covered here for the side of Rogue, who have attack visor, and AKM up top with the high ground advantage now is going to get dived upon by Gods here. He's able to actually force him off with Zephyr as well.
And it's going to be Soon with a lot of room to work with. Wynn's actually getting punished in the back a little bit, and that's going to be by Surefour. So Soon's going to come over and try to assist in that one. They should be able to find that kill more than likely, as Surefour now is going to be out of position. But despite that, they do actually push this one forward. Adam jumping on just to try to contest, and Rogue, again, just running this one through. But certainly with the pressure that Surefour has been putting out, Wynn shouldn't be able to be making tweets in this series yet.
I really like what I saw there from, I believe it was Nox, who was just up in the front line. I think he was with Nico as well as AKM and the rest of the guys. That was a very split up fight. There was a fight on the payload and a fight up front. They're actually using an nano boost, though, onto Surefour here. Sound barrier's out. Man, they just really dived onto that point. Soon, though, sticks the pulse bomb, gets a kill there onto Rolf. Now attack visor from AKM, finds a kill there onto Adam. She'll be able to secure the one onto Selly. Selly looking for the flank here. He's not going to find anything, and Rogue shut down that immediately. They capture a second checkpoint as soon as they can get rid of this pesky little diva. Zephyr going to be taken down. They've got themselves 520 to complete the map.
And Adam getting chased, has the Discord as well. Soon we'll be able to find that kill, no problem. And pushing forward again. Very, very solid time here as they actually kill off Surefour as well, and Rogue just going to go ahead and spawn camp, and now maybe we will see some tweets from Wins.
There's definitely the potential for it, as he is just hanging out on the payload, just making sure everything's good in the backline. Unko, though, the other support here for Rogue, has a Transcendence on the way, so he's going to be able to use that here into whatever he actually wants to. Ooh, Zephyr actually up top here. He's going to be demech, forcing the Transcendence out from Unko to make sure his teammates can stay alive up here, though it looks like AKM barely manages to get out alive. He finds 2 kills rather for himself here. There's Surefour way in the backline, not really sure what he was trying to do, maybe find the one-on-one against Wins, but great communication from Rogue shuts that down.
Yeah, basically the purpose there for Surefour is he's trying to go through, contest the payload, and if he can find the kill on Wins to be able to start pushing that one back. But still, I mean, it's just hasn't worked out in his favor because his team has been losing at the front line. But Zephyr already with the kill on Unko.
AKM picks up one onto Gods. They have attack visor if they want to use it. Pulse bomb's out there. Surefour doesn't find its mark, unfortunately, but still, he's under a little bit of pressure from AKM, who's landing all of his shots, looking for Adam, who almost is going to be taken down. A very odd fight at this point, but it looks like Rogue still have the numbers advantage, spawn advantage to the side of Cloud9, who might be able to take that in their favor. They pick up a couple more kills, and finally, I think this is the first time we've seen Cloud9 actually stop Rogue.
Yeah, this is indeed the first time. We've seen them stalling a little bit, but this is the first time we actually see a really solid, just forced regroup from Rogue. They almost got him on that first point, but didn't come up with it, and now we will see Rolf and Selly trying to get into position up here with Zephyr going to be blocking off a lot of that pressure that will come out onto Selly once he does pull it out. But we do see the nanovisor dropping, and they're going to get aggressive off this, and Rogue giving nothing away.
Not a whole lot of targets here for Selly. Unfortunately, they do pick up 2 kills onto the DPS, and finally, they should be able to turn this fight around, or not even around. It was always in their favor after those first 2 kills here. So a shutdown coming out there from Selly, utilized a couple of ultimates, just the nanovisor and the primal rage coming out there from Gods, but thankfully for the side of Rogue, didn't really use anything in that last fight, so they have a lot to work with 3 minutes to go. You gotta wonder, Cloud9 might be able to make them match their time. You know, about 1:15 isn't a whole lot of time to try to get an advantage if you are Rogue.
they really have like one solid fight and then maybe a stagger or maybe another fight, depending on how they die out and how quickly they can get back. But a lot of options for Rogue as they're getting very aggressive here, forcing Selly off of the high ground. Soon already found the kill on Surefour, and the self-destruct is forced out as well.
Do they find anything? Transcendence here from Unko, self-destruct now from Nico. Does he get any kills? He does not. It's Zephyr who picks up one, as it looked like it was actually Nico who might have been able to grab something there, but unfortunately not. AKM was taken down as well by that self-destruct. He had Tactic Visor at the ready. Unfortunately, didn't get it off there, but still, we do near 220 here. Still kills going in favor of Rogue. No, Zephyr picks up a kill, a late kill there onto Unko. AKM still coming back into this one. Nano Boost was onto Zephyr, trying to keep the hope alive here.
And they actually are pushing them off slowly. AKM still in a great position though, so Zephyr needs to keep this mech, does manage to get down and actually gets healed, but he has to come back out to try to shut down AKM with that Tac Visor. Not going to be able to do that as AKM finds two, and that's on the Gods and Selly.
Might be able to find another. Surefour in a rough spot. Doesn't really have a whole lot remaining as now it looks like Rolf back here on the Ana. Is ever going to be D-Mech forced? No, he doesn't even get to re-mech here. The self-destruct's not going to be able to find anything in Rogue. Complete the map in 1:44. 1 second slower there, so they will again make the first push.
So pretty similar actually between the two teams. Just trade the phases. I mean, C9 looking a little bit better towards the end of the map, and Rogue definitely looking a lot better towards the beginning. Now going into overtime where 145 is on your time bank, I mean, C9 could have done better in the beginning, I think. I mean, the Widowmaker just didn't really work for them initially. I mean, they could always still pull it out. I mean, it might have just been a fluke play. I mean, Surefour is still a really, really solid Widowmaker, so it might have just been a case of it just didn't work that time. But I think it's in their best interest to not pull it out again, because Rogue did a good job of denying those sightlines to Surefour to make sure that he's not able to find those picks. And when he did have them available, Surefour just wasn't able to really kind of capitalize on those really split-second opportunities, and you can't blame him for that, because those are some tough shots to try to make. Now, again, Rogue looked solid both on defense and offense on this first point, and maybe that's going to be impactful here for this overtime phase, as it could very well be decided by this first phase of the map, as 144, 145 respectively is not going to be a lot of time to work with for either team.
Rogue did not struggle throughout the first part of the map and struggled at the end, and it was the complete opposite there for Cloud9, who struggled at the beginning and then just came through, powered through the second and third checkpoints to be able to complete the map with 1 second better than what we see there from Rogue. So very exact same times about from both these teams, as we do see aggression right from the get-go here. Gods will be taken down though, and remember that spawn advantage is really going to hurt Cloud9 at this point, but even so, they'll be able to back up and hold where you normally would hold here. They're just feeding a little bit of ult charge to Rogue, who cleaned them up with ease. Only 120 remaining. Got to remember, Cloud9, if they make a single hold here, it definitely could be pushed into overtime for the first checkpoint.
But Selly got pressured a little bit, and now he's trying to take Nico out of that mech. He's going to be able to get those heals, and on top of that, we're going to be seeing Unko and Wins come away with a little bit more ult charge for themselves after that healing goes through, and aggression coming out. C9 actually going to be losing. Selly as soon finds that kill.
That's unfortunate there, is, he's a big threat for Cloud9 to be able to have on their side here, so losing him early on, not a good start for these guys. They might be able to continue with this one. Looking for Adam. Adam going to be taken down here. Zephyr also way in the back. They have to take care of Wolf, who's also up there top and just firing down onto his teammates, but that's going to be, it looks like Nox going for that kill here. Forces him down to the low ground here. Rogue cleaning up Cloud9. That should definitely be a first checkpoint secured, but definitely will also push it into overtime and look for one hold from Cloud9 to be able to secure the defense.
Soon now going forward, I mean, that first checkpoint capped for Rogue, that's a huge pickup, Storm. I mean, that's absolutely pivotal for them to be able to find that cap and still have time to work with, as they're already finding another kill onto Rolf, who was caught with that short spawn, and now actually Surefour is going forward, and he actually is in a potential spot to get taken down, but not going to actually happen. His pull spawn goes out, doesn't find anything initially.
Selly with the Tac Visor finds nothing. The sound barrier coming through from Wins keeps his team alive. Selly had the high ground advantage, doesn't mean anything. Unko coming through with the Transcendence. Self-destruct is out there, doesn't find anything. Soon follows up with that kill onto the Baby Diva. There goes Adam, there goes Surefour, and Rogue again gonna just mop the floor here in overtime. Potentially gonna be able to move up to the second checkpoint. I don't think they'll secure it off of that though.
They still have a little bit of more ground to cover, but AKM up on top of the ship now, and in this hangar phase, I mean, this is this has got to be scary because really you don't have too many options. Zephyr has to get up there and really kind of shut him down, but Discord's already out on him. Self-destruct coming out, doesn't find anything, but TacVisor now from AKM looking to mop things up as AKM already finds a kill on the Surefour.
Looking to do something into the into that Primal Rage Winston. The Winston of all people gets the nano boost, surprisingly enough. Adam drops the sound barrier as well, but they take care of business. Uncle gonna be taken down. There's a couple of kills. Both supports down now for the side of Cloud9. Zephyr as well under a lot of pressure here from AKM. He's gonna be taken out of the mech. The rest of the team clean this one up, and it's Rogue again securing another checkpoint as soon as they can deal with Surefour. He's gonna be dropped here, and in overtime, they are just steamrolling Cloud9.
It should be noted that this is very similar to what happened on their first attack. We didn't see Cloud9 with an ability to make a full hold until this last stage of the map. And really, I mean, this is just, again, Rogue's ability to make these attacks just consistent and just rolling over one after the other. C9 not in a good spot here to make their attack with, I mean, only 1 second more, but Rogue just looking so solid.
It's got to be so discouraging knowing how far the payload's moved through Cloud9. So not the greatest feeling by any means, but finally they get off this fight to a good start, finding 2 kills for himself. Nico going to be taken out of the mech as well, and that will be a TacVisor drop from Selly. Cloud9 should be able to shut him down here. Unco off of respawn. The rest of the team is dead, and finally Cloud9 do something here. But should that payload even be where it's at right now, here?
Well, again, it's tough. It's a tough position to call because, again, I mean, yeah, it really shouldn't. With that time allotted, 1:44 on the clock, yeah, it shouldn't really be there. But again, it's not something that should be surprising because Rogue did that on their first attack. I mean, it already worked out for them. You know, on that first stage of the map, Rogue is very, very solid. They're consistent. I think that's a big reason why they pulled this map out. I think it's actually surprising how Cloud9 was able to do so much on their attack. I think that was actually more of the surprise that we're even at this stage of the map. But nonetheless, Cloud9 with an opportunity here to try to cover that same amount of distance. But I mean, that's a lot of distance to cover, even for Cloud9, who still look very solid today, especially against Rogue, who have proven that they know how to stop teams on this first point. And I would be very surprised to see Cloud9 making it through the hangar, but I would be even a little surprised as well to see them make it to the hangar to begin with, getting that 4th point on the board.
Well, this time around, Nico will be starting out on the Diva, maybe looking to deny some of that pressure coming out from Selly. But Selly this time around, moving over to the Roadhog potentially with Surefour on the Soldier 76. So a bit of a change from Cloud9 should they go with this, and it looks like that's going to be the case. No, Zephyr now on a Zarya, so triple tank. Interesting composition coming out here from the side of Cloud9. What do you make of this with 136 to be able to push about 2.5 checkpoints?
Basically, they just want to get aggressive. They want to be able to try to shut down soon if they can, and they still want to have that ability for Gods to try to create that extra space. And it's seeming like it's doing okay at the moment. Nico is going to be dropped out of the mech, and they do find the kill on AKM, so it seems like this swap is really kind of working out for Cloud9 at the moment. It certainly is, but every second counts at this point. I mean, in a sense that you want to be able to push at least a little bit of distance. You don't want it really to be in overtime, but by the time it hits that first checkpoint, we're going to have a little bit of time potentially left, but not really going to mean a whole lot with 60 seconds to go here because they clean that one up. Plenty of time for Rogue to get a regroup. Nico now making a change over to the Genji. Going to be behind a little bit in terms of ult charge, but at this point, a Teamfighter 2 should seal it here for Rogue. All they really need is a solid stop here, and they should be able to just equal out that momentum there. Wynn's going to get pulled in, though, and Selly going to be able to find that kill. That's a huge pickup for them to move forward with. This is exactly what helped them out through the 2nd and 3rd phases. Just those easy picks where they can then take the 6v5 advantage. And now another hook from Selly as he actually pulls in the Winston. Down barrier comes through from Adam. Pulse bomb's ready to go here from Soon, who's still on the payload, just running around, skipping all the way around here. Finally, he should be dealt with. Yes, Surefour connects there with the Helix. Not about 18 seconds remaining as they will probably be able to secure the checkpoint. I don't think that they want to contest. Rogue has a Primal Rage. No, they're going to back off of this one here. Hold on to their ultimates and look for basically one team fight throughout the rest of the map. Will secure it for Rogue. And you have to be very afraid of AKM going up top right now to the ship. Has that tactical visor at the ready, as well as Unco ready to go with that nano boost as he's on the Ana right now. Certainly looking for Unko, or sorry, for AKM to make a play, and he actually gets dropped down pretty low as Nox actually going to be forced to Primal Rage just to stay alive.
They actually forced out a Transcendence. I think that's even bigger for him. There's Attack Visor up top. AKM picks up 1 kill, looking for another here. Does he get it? Yes, Wolf going to be taken down, looking for Gods. They pick up Selly. Primal Rage forced out from Gods. It's him against the world along with Adam. Adam able to find a kill for himself, not going to amount to too much. It's the Dragon Blade Unsheathed from Nico. God doesn't make it back in time with the Primal Rage jump, and that's going to be Rogue securing watch point Gibraltar in this best of 3 semifinal.
Still, I think that was a lot closer than I anticipated, and now going on to Lijiang Tower, where C9 is looking their strongest, I think there's a pretty solid chance that C9 is going to take a map here against Rogue.
I mean, just given, you mentioned the most surprising part of watch point Gibraltar there was the fact that Cloud9 was able to finish out the map with 145, a second more than what we saw there from Rogue. I'm not surprised to see Rogue take the map, but that result itself does kind of make you wonder, moving to Lijiang Tower with a map that Selfless didn't do so well against Cloud9 on, is it the opportunity for them to take the map and move to Dorado? Do you think they're going to be able to do that here, X?
I'm going to put my money on C9 taking this next map. I think it's going to be incredibly close. I think that, you know, it might actually go to a map number 5.
Oh, man, look at that card, man. That card was 7 minutes and 1 second spent on the payload by Wins, and everybody was upvoting him, saying AFK on the payload.
7 minutes tweeting, man. 7 minutes tweeting.
Man. That's actually pretty funny. But sorry to interrupt. Go back to what you were saying about Cloud9 taking
7 minutes of tweeting. Adam had 6 minutes of tweeting, though. He just said in chat. So still, these Lucios definitely enjoying their time here at the Overwatch Rumble. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to put my hat on you know, C9 being able to take this. I still think it's going to go to a map 4 or 5, probably 5. I think Rogue are going to be able to do a lot in this next matchup, but I think C9 are going to be able to squeak out a map win and move us on to Dorado, where I actually think Rogue will probably win that one pretty decisively. So I'm still thinking that C9 is going to take Lijiang. I still think we're going to be going into a game 3, but Rogue obviously looking very strong as always and could always take away Lijiang Tower and be the first team to actually beat C9 on this map throughout this tournament.
Well, all right. Well, we're going to see as these teams are good to go to get into our second map. This is a best of 3 winners bracket semifinal. Loser of this still has an opportunity in the lower bracket, which is still going on currently. Directly following this semifinal, we're going to have Envy taking on Immortals in our other semifinal matchup. So a lot of Overwatch action still yet to come throughout the rest of today here in the Overwatch Rumble, brought to you guys by Razer and DX Racer. But I don't know. Cloud9 really found a grip on that last match, but, you know, like you saw, Rogue coming out on top. Anything in particular you'd like to see? Do you want to see this triple DPS come back here from the side of Cloud9?
It's hard to say because Zephyr has been consistently playing these flex tank roles, and it looks like that actually is going to be coming out as well. But Selly actually pulling out the Roadhog here to try to shut down some of these DPSs, and I'm not sure about this because while Surefour has been pretty solid, I think they just looked a lot better with Selly on Tracer and Surefour playing something else, like, you know, could pull out a soldier himself. I mean, not to take anything away from Surefour's Tracer, I just think that it's just worked so well for them throughout today, especially with Surefour going over to stuff like Mei, but I don't think Rogue would fall for that, especially given the fact that they're on the dive as well. So, I mean, they really have to try to shut down Unko as much as possible, I think, here.
I thought this Tracer looked fantastic against Selfless in particular, but now Soon actually picks up the first kill. It's the 1-for-1 support for support. Soon still on the back line here along with Nico, looking to finish off Roadhog. Selly going to be taken down, and just like that, Rogue clean up the first fight. Very clean fight from them. They only end up losing Unko, I believe, in the mix of it, but securing the first point, securing the first round.
So we did see them able to take out Unko, which is probably the easier kill that they could find, if at all possible, but still, the fact that Unko is able to be consistent with this and that Rogue is able to just kind of form a little bit of a barrier around him with Nox falling back oftentimes and Soon helping out, Nico coming through, providing some consistent pressure. It's crazy how he's able to survive against Tracers like this.
That was a bit of a misplay there from Soon. Wasn't able to get to safety. Was hit there by the Reinhardt, but now the Dragon Blade out from Nico, trying to turn it around. Isn't enough. He picks up 2. Zephyr, I believe, got the nano boost here. He was melting these guys down, in Cloud9 take a quick flip here of the point, 31%, as the Dragon Blade from Nico just wasn't enough for Rogue.
Zephyr looking to try to get that Graviton Surge, but going up against Rogue, they're usually pretty good about scattering around. We saw C9 actually do it against Selfless with Sinatra trying to find value with his Graviton, but with the dive comp, it's just so hard to actually secure a lot of value, just try to get a lot of people inside of it because everybody's just all over the place trying to find those individual picks. But he does have the graviton ready.
Yeah, AKM actually found a really nice pick there on the side onto Surefour, but like you said, grab surge coming out from Zephyr. They pick up the kills. What was that? I did not see that coming out whatsoever, but soon with a pulse bomb, Sticks it. He is the lone survivor along now with Nico. Oh, they find the kill. They turn it around here. Did not see that coming. Rogue clean this one up despite losing quite a few important members early on in that fight, and gonna be able to make the flip and regain the lead.
Again, that's the problem. We talked about it before. Rogue, just so many threats that you have to deal with. Even if you deal with Unko, even if you deal with AKM, even if you deal with Nox, you still have Nico and Soon on the point, and they just clean things up themselves.
And AKM was actually dealt with there. He had attack visor at the ready, but now we're going to see sound barrier from both sides. Selly, coming out here with the whole hog. Dragon Blade, though, from Nico. Does he find anything? A lot of damage. The Transcendence keeps him alive there. Picks up two. He's slicing and dicing here. He's going to be able to more than likely finish off Zephyr. Yes, he gets it with the deflect, and that's a clean wipe coming through there for Rogue.
And this looks even more dominant for Rogue as they're just mopping C9 up so easily at the moment. And what to see, I mean, Surefour at the moment does have that pulse bomb. Rolf with that nano boost. Last time we saw it going out onto Zephyr to try to secure that graviton surge, and a nice stick. How did Surefour just sneak up on Nico like that? He was just sitting there.
Well, he finds an early pick for himself, but Selly going to be taken down by the flank here from Soon, but they get the flip mid-fight, so it will be in favor of Rogue, or excuse me, Cloud9 to hold on to this as long as they possibly can, even if they are starting to lose the fight here. Rolf going to be taken down here. Still God's under a lot of pressure. Surefour taken down. They cannot find a way to put to deal with Soon here as Nox comes through with the big primal rage, and 10 seconds to go. Do they even have enough time to make it back to the point here?
I don't know. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case. They are definitely going to try, and Adam might be able to make this work, but I don't think that this is going to actually happen. As Selly does find that opening pick, they're just not going to be able to get onto the point. But still, I think Surefour with a little bit of a misplay there. I mean, should have been able to find that kill on Unko, but Soon came over and just one-clipped him down with a little bit of help from the rest of Rogue. But Surefour falling there is basically what secured Rogue that point as they flipped it back over, and now 1-0 lead with C9 down on their map pick, and a map that they have not lost yet in this tournament to anyone. Granted, they haven't played a Rogue yet, but
yeah, haven't played Rogue yet here, but they're really gonna have to. Honestly, that was a pretty close round. It's not like they really need to change a whole lot up. I think they could have regained that point. They found a kill onto Soon late there, and Surefour just barely missed getting onto the point in time. That very well could have been Cloud9's map. So now we get to see as we move to control what's going to happen. AKM on the Pharah for the first time here. Going to see a little bit of that, but it's going to be into Surefour here on the 76.
Pushing through, and Surefour now on that 76, as mentioned, is going to be trying to deal with AKM on that Pharah. And actually, AKM almost eliminated there early on. They would have been able to find that pick. That would have been huge for them. And actually, AKM still kind of struggling with Surefour all over him right now.
Going to be a tough target to get rid of here. As look at Selly, he's way out of position on the point. Nice projected barrier coming out from Zephyr, keeps him alive for the time being. Nico, the first to fall here, is AKM with 3 HP up in the skies. He's going to be dropped here by Surefour, and just like that, Cloud9 mop up this fight with ease. I'd be surprised to see AKM stick with that pick, and waiting to see if he moves. Yes, he is going over to the Soldier 76 now.
So this is that classic setup from Rogue now as they make that swap, but Surefour, since he was able to put so much damage into AKM and kind of shut him down a little bit, deny him of that efficacy that we typically see AKM finding with that Pharah pick, Surefour is already going to have his tack visor to AKM. AKM already at 40% though.
Surefour with the nano visor picks up a kill. It doesn't even matter that they lost. God finds 3 for himself here. And just like that, Cloud9 maintain control. That was a little bit of an odd play because it was Gods who was charging out of the fight, had a sound barrier on him from Adam, but was just melted. But a good turnaround coming out from Surefour helps them secure the fight.
And now Zephyr, of course, trying to maintain his high energy so that he can get that graviton surge up. Again, though, going up against the dive. I think this map definitely favors the Zarya pick a little bit more, as you can typically find those clusters against the dive even more so than on Night Market, unless you do see people just going through doorways.
Dragon Blade out though from Nico. It's going to be with the Transcendence. Unco just doing a terrific job with these Transcendences. It's been keeping Nico alive even when he's had to go up against the Whole Hog like he did in the last fight against Selly there. As they do finish off Gods way in the back, that was Nox. He's going to get to safety. They get themselves the team kill and the flip at 62%, but at what cost? They used 3 ultimates in that last fight. They're going to have 3 for the next one, but it's going to be pretty even for both of these teams.
Really, the momentum shifter there was Zephyr with high energy, dropping a Graviton with Selly unleashing the Whole Hog into it, but they shut that down pretty effectively. Zephyr dying off as Nico found that kill, and the Transcendence certainly helping him do that. Now C9 jumping on. They're going to be looking to try to find a lot of value with that, but oh, it's going to be Zephyr taken out, though.
He was in like the one-on-one there with Unco, I believe, and to find that kill for himself soon as well. Got a pick with the pulse bomb, and the big thing is that they were able to hold on to that tactical visor from the side of AKM, and now that they use sound barrier, Unco is coming back up 60% now towards his ultimate. Thankfully for Cloud9, they didn't use anything, so they have a lot to work with for this next fight here.
And AKM going to have that high ground advantage with C9. I mean, they don't have anyone to kind of contest him, and that was a big problem that they had on Gibraltar, actually, was that they just had nobody to contest the high ground. AKM with attack visor is going to have a similar performance here, more than likely.
Graviton Surge only hit soon. He was able to recall to safety. We see the Nano Visor out there from Surefour. He picked up 1 kill, looking for another here. They do take care of business on the high ground, or at least for the most part, able to force Nox down there. AKM not really getting a whole lot of work done. Finds a kill for himself. It's him and Nox up against 5 people from Cloud9. He's going to drop down. He's going to be taken down. Wins and Nico, though, still trying to hold on to this as long as they possibly can. He's going to get put to sleep and finally dealt with there. He finally goes down. A 75% unanswered there coming out from the side of Rogue.
Really good use of line of sighting there from C9 to be able to prevent AKM from having a similar play than what they just suffered actually to on Gibraltar in that hangar phase of the map in overtime. Now God's just coming around and is going to get pressured pretty hard, but they are going to be able to find a... Oh, he gets stuck though.
He does, but the sound barrier keeps him alive. Thankfully, they have a Dragon Blade if they want to use it here from Rogue. They get the flip mid-fight, which is really big for them. We'll see if they really want to use any ultimates, being at a numbers disadvantage here. Here's a Dragon Blade coming out from Nico, looking for something. Transcendence is also out here from Unco. It seems like they work so well hand in hand, but unfortunately, they don't find anything off of that one. Nano Boost onto Zephyr as well. He's fully charged up here. Graviton Surge comes through, but he's taken down, unfortunately. It's AKM coming through with the Tac Thunder. He picks up 3 kills for himself, looking for a 4. Surefour turns the corner with his own. He's not going to find too much, unfortunately. He's going to be taken down, and Rogue securing the second round.
Man, AKM, nobody checked him. He just slid around that backside, and I mean, Zephyr dropping the Graviton Surge didn't have anybody there to execute with him, and then, of course, just great zoning potential from the attack visor from AKM there as well, as he found Rolf and then was able to just push Surefour off and take him down pretty low. Nico was able to get right in his face as well, so really clutch play there from Rogue as a team. And now they're sitting here with a 2-0 advantage. Again, this was kind of C9's map. They performed pretty well in Gibraltar, but falling a little bit short here against Rogue on Lijiang Tower, but still able to get a decent amount of points on the board for themselves, just not able to secure a map quite yet.
AKM moving back over to the Pharaoh. This time around, he's going to have a little bit more room to work with as opposed to the Patrol, and has a Mercy as well. And it's going to be Selly on the Soldier 76 as opposed to Surefour previously in that last round, which was a big issue for AKM. That's why I made the change over to the 76, but now it's going to be Rolf the first to fall here. Surefour looking for a little bit of damage, but they're under so much pressure. Surefour dangerously close to falling here. He makes it out alive for the most part here, but they're forced all the way back into the spawn.
It will be AKM pushing them all the way back as well, as this time it's not going to be Surefour on that Soldier 76. It's going to be Selly instead, soon finding that kill on Gods, but still Selly putting out that pressure onto AKM, forcing him all the way up, and Unco on the Mercy has to try to keep him alive, but Selly's going to be able to find that kill.
In the end, though, it was 2 kills still coming back in favor of Rogue, who should be able to mop this one up. Still a couple of people remaining as Surefour is running rampant on the point as God's now re-entering the fight. You gotta wonder, does it make sense for them to stick around in this one? Pulse Bomb's out there, doesn't find anything as AKM now back in the mix, wins as well, taking a little bit of pressure here around the point. AKM cleans it up, finds 2 kills for himself as they re-enter this fight. 20% looking good here in the 3rd round.
This is not a good position to be in if you're C9, because AKM is kind of going unanswered a little bit in that last fight. I mean, Selly found the kill initially, and the attack visor is certainly going to help them out a lot, but now they're getting that resurrect up. Now they're getting close to Barrage. I mean, Zephyr should be able to shut down Barrage if he's in a good position, but look at that. A nice concussive blast putting them out of position.
Oh, I thought he almost had a couple there. Wasn't the case, but the boop coming through. God's able to make it back up in time. AKM with the Barrage into the Transcendence. He still finds a kill there onto God some way, somehow. Self-destruct is out. Able to actually isolate a couple of them. Really disperse the rest of Cloud9, who are all over the map right now. They pick up a couple of kills. Most notably, Unko was taken down with Resurrect ready to go, and it looks like Cloud9 might have an opportunity. Sound barrier. No, Adam going to be taken down just before he's able to drop the beat, and still, it's going to be Rogue holding on to the point.
And Rogue at 67% now, getting ever closer to securing this as Surefour is backed off now. Does get that health pack, doesn't have his blinks or recalls, but Unko actually just going with that Resurrect just to try to maintain momentum. And now Nico should be demeched in this one as he's sitting down pretty low, but he's slept, so they're not going to look for the kill quite yet.
Oh my goodness, the pulse bomb from Surefour, he doesn't even stick it. It was Nox who was actually just sitting around there, but they do manage to clean this one up. Thankfully for the side of Rogue, they get themselves up to 90%. As the sound barrier eventually did work out for Adam and company. So a couple of ultimates for Cloud9 to try to hold on, but it's going to have to be one heck of a couple of fights if they want to be able to take this round. They need the reverse sweep here, otherwise they're going to be moving into the lower bracket.
Ooh, Selly almost with a nice timed Helix rocket onto Soon, but Soon hears that and doesn't actually engage through. But AKM making the swap over to that Soldier 76, just looking for a little bit more consistency here as Attack Visor is going to come out, and he didn't want to get shut down. Self-destruct coming out as well.
Oh, almost gets one of them there, but not going to be the case. They do force Selly to bring down. I didn't like that combo at all from Selly and Zephyr. To self-destruct is going to push them away, so why use the tactical visor at the same time, pushing them back away from him, not allowing to push out any damage there. So not really a whole lot to worry about in terms of ults if you are Rogue, but still 43% and counting, looking for an opportunity to pounce in as Soon, looking for the flank here. There's the pulse bomb. It's 6 onto God, or God's rather. He actually picks up the kill there. Sound barrier comes down as well. They lose Soon in the making here, but still they take care of Zephyr. Selly now getting the nano boost here isn't enough to seal the deal here.
Oh, they do find that kill onto Selly. That's a big pickup if they're looking to flip this. Unko is fragging out right now as Nico finds that last kill onto Rolf. They find the flip, and now it's going to be up to C9 to try to get onto the point, and that's going to be definitely staggered as Gods and Zephyr are really kind of the only people in a position to get there right now.
Doesn't have a primal rage either. He's just dropped. Overtime is triggered here. Zephyr is in the area. They don't have anything to work with other than the pulse bomb. Transcendence is out here from Unko. They pick up a kill with AKM tactical visor onto Adam. Should be able to secure the one here onto Surefour as well. He's gonna just be dropped. Everybody is down and out of this fight. God's gonna try his best to leap onto the point. Gets the full reset. He should be taken care of just instantly. He's gonna go down, and Rogue secure Lijiang Tower 3-0 here. They're gonna be taking the series 2-0 and moving into the winners bracket finals.
And now I have to eat my words because C9 just kind of got stomped out there. I mean, we've been seeing them perform pretty consistently on Lijiang Tower. I mean, they definitely put up a fight against Rogue, but just coming up a little bit short. See Zephyr making that play of the game here on the Zarya, more than likely. I mean, this is just a couple of random kills that actually occurred, but still C9 able to secure the point off of this. But not enough. Again, just kind of been the story. They've been able to have really good performances on Lijiang Tower, just came up again just a little bit short, and saw Gods having a pretty solid performance as well. I definitely like to see him on that tank role. It definitely seems like he's playing actually pretty well in that, which is crazy to me because I'm not sure what my expectations were, but now it's going into that lower bracket. Cloud9 is going to have to contend with either Splice or Selfless once again, I think, if I'm not mistaken, or is it going to be Rise Nation LG Evil?
Not sure, actually, at this point. I do only have one update from the, I believe it's the LG Evil Rise Nation. I last heard that Rise Nation was down 0-1 in that series. Don't have any updates for you guys. Hopefully I can get some before we come back with the next series. The next series is going to be Team Envious going up against Immortals in the winners bracket semifinals to see who takes on Rogue in the winners bracket finals. So, guys, we're going to head to a short break. When we're back, Envy going to be taking on Immortals. Stay with us.